Now, as the clock ticks closer to the December presidential elections, the media continue to be reminded of its powerful role to ensure a free, fair, and transparent process. The latest voice on this subject came from the former Minister of Information and Communication Infrastructure, who places the media in the front line of electoral duties. Binta Jallow reports.
Discussions of media functions within electoral context often focuses on their watchdog role by unfettered scrutiny of public affairs. Electoral publicity goes out to show identities of candidates, their successes and failures, engagements of government and electoral bodies in fulfillment of the public right to informed choices. Former Minister of Information and Communication Infrastructure, Demba Ali Jao, outlined the importance of the media, particularly during election periods.
The media is a very, very important component of any elections whatsoever, or any democracy whatsoever, particularly when it comes to elections. It's extremely important, and it can make or break any democracy during an election. So it's important that the media should be very, very vigilant the way it handles the elections. Vigilant in the sense that they should not allow, the politicians to use them. I mean the journalists should never allow the politicians to use them, because the politicians are only interested in winning the elections. And, for that reason, they are prepared to go to any length whatsoever to use whatever means is necessary or is available to them to win the elections. And, and that can also include using the journalists to achieve their objective. And the journalists should be very, very, vigilant about that, and so that they should not allow that to happen.
The former president of the Gambia Press Union warned that it could be dangerous for the journalists to cover press conferences of political parties which are paraded with party supporters.
Of course, it can, it can pose some dangers to journalists. But as far as we journalists are concerned, our objective is to get the information from them, no matter what happens. So we need to be very careful when we attend such press conferences. But certainly, it should not deter us from going there and getting the information that we need from them.
Mr. Yao advised journalists to keep up to fact-checking business in order to prevent any chance of misinformation.
Well, misinformation is a very dangerous threat whatsoever, because particularly when it comes to journalists and elections, because if we do not inform the people correctly, then they will not be well informed as to what kind of choice they are supposed to make in elections. So, it's a very dangerous trend, and it can even lead to, trouble, because if you tell the people what has not happened, and probably they take it as something factual and they take action based on what you have told them, when it turns out not to be true, it can cause a problem in this. So we should be very, very careful of that. We should always ensure that as journalists, whatever information we give is very factual and verified as well.
For the Gambia to evolve, independent media can no longer be an enemy of the state by default. Instead, the media needs to play a role in ensuring inclusive and transparent governance processes, while at the same time informing the citizens about their role and responsibilities in the democratic transition process. For iAfrica News, Binta Jallow.
Former Information Minister reminds journalists ahead of the December presidential elections